The setup, the Great Crusade. 10,000 years before the famous setting of the 41st millennium, humanity stood at the edge of a golden age. The emperor of mankind, an ancient and powerful leader, stepped out of the shadows of Earth to save a crumbling galaxy. He did not do this alone. Using his own DNA, he created 20 superhumans known as Primarchs. These were not just soldiers, they were his sons. Each Primarch was a giant, standing over 10 feet tall, with a mind like a supercomputer and the strength of a tank. They were built to be the perfect generals. To serve them, the Emperor created the Space Marines. These were regular humans enhanced with extra organs like a second heart and a third lung, making them nearly impossible to kill. These Space Marines were divided into 20 legions, each following the specific personality and fighting style of their Primarch father. Together, the Emperor and his sons launched the Great Crusade. This was a massive military mission to find every lost human planet across the stars and bring them into one single empire called the Imperium of Man. The Emperor had a strict rule for this new empire: no gods and no religion. This was called the Imperial Truth. He believed that if humanity focused on science, logic, and cold facts, they would be safe from the dangers of the universe. For 200 years, the legions were unstoppable. They moved from planet to planet, crushing alien threats and uniting thousands of worlds. It was a time of high technology and massive hope. The galaxy was being cleared of monsters, and it looked like humanity would finally rule the stars in peace. The Primarchs were heroes, the Space Marines were protectors, and the Emperor was the guiding light leading them all toward a bright, logical future. The choice: the War Master. Just as the Great Crusade reached its peak, the Emperor made a decision that shocked his sons. He decided to leave the front lines of the war and return to Earth, which was now called Terra. He did not tell his sons why he was leaving. He only said he had a secret project to work on in the dungeons beneath his palace. This project was the Webway, a hidden tunnel system that would allow humans to travel across the galaxy without using the dangerous warp. To keep the war going while he was away, the Emperor had to choose a leader to take his place. He chose his favorite and most accomplished son, Horus Heresy. Horus was named the War Master. This title gave him absolute control over every soldier, ship, and Primarch in the entire Imperium. It was the highest honor any son could receive, but it was also a heavy burden. While Horus was a brilliant leader, being the War Master was lonely. For the first time, he felt the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders, without his father by his side to guide him. Many of his brother Primarchs were happy for him, but others were jealous or felt abandoned by their father's sudden departure. The Emperor had also created a new government of regular humans to collect taxes and run the planets. This made the Primarchs feel like they were being replaced by the very people they had fought to save. Horus began to worry about what would happen to his legions once the war was finally over. He feared that the Emperor would discard his warrior sons like broken tools. This seed of doubt and the feeling of being left in the dark created a rift between the Emperor and his greatest general. The stage was set for the ultimate tragedy. The Fall, corruption by chaos. Deep within the warp, a nightmare dimension of pure energy, lived the Chaos Gods. These four dark powers were the personification of war, change, decay, and excess. They hated the Emperor because his push for logic and science threatened to starve them of the fear and worship they needed to survive. They knew they could not defeat the Emperor in a fair fight, so they targeted the pride of his favorite son, Horus. The opportunity came on a moon called Davin. Horus was wounded by a specialized blade, made of cursed alien material, that resisted even the incredible healing powers of a Primarch. As Horus lay dying, the Chaos Gods sent him visions. They showed him a future where the Emperor had become a cruel god, being worshipped by billions, while the Primarchs who won the galaxy were forgotten and erased from history. Horus did not realize these visions were a trick. His resentment over being left behind by his father turned into a burning rage. He believed the Emperor had lied to everyone and was planning to abandon his sons once he achieved godhood. Horus decided he was the only one who could save the Imperium from a lying tyrant. He made a secret pact with the dark powers of the warp, trading his soul for godlike strength. He then began a quiet shadow campaign to recruit his brothers. He played on their specific flaws, like the anger of Angron or the pride of Fulgrim. One by one, 8 other Primarchs agreed that the Emperor had to be removed from power. These traitors began to change, their armor becoming twisted and their minds warping as they let the dark energy of chaos flow through them. The Brotherhood of the Primarchs was dead, replaced by a conspiracy that would soon tear the galaxy in half. The betrayal. Istvan III and the Fifth. Horus knew that to win his war against the Emperor, he had to first remove the Loyalists from his own ranks. He brought 4 of the traitor legions to the Istvan system, under the lie of putting down a small rebellion. On the planet of Istvan III, Horus sent down every space marine he suspected was still loyal to the Emperor. Once they were on the ground, his ships in orbit launched Life-Eater virus bombs. This horrific weapon turned every living thing on the planet into gas and sludge in seconds. Then Horus ignited the atmosphere, turning the entire world into a fireball. A few survivors managed to hide in bunkers and fought a desperate, month-long battle against their own brothers. But the message was clear. The civil war had officially begun. The mask was off, and Horus was now openly a rebel. When news of this reached Terra, the Emperor sent 7 legions to crush Horus at Istvan V. This event is known as the Drop Site Massacre. 3 loyal legions, the Salamanders, the Iron Hands, and the Raven Guard, landed first and began a brutal fight against Horus's forces. They were exhausted and pinned down, so they called for the 4 legions waiting in reserve to land and help them. But as the reserve legions stepped off their ships, they did not attack Horus. Instead, they opened fire on their own brothers' backs. Those 4 legions had secretly joined Horus. The Loyalists were trapped in a killing field between 2 armies of traitors. Thousands of Space Marines died in minutes. The Primarch of the Iron Hands was decapitated by his own brother, Fulgrim. Only a tiny handful of Loyalists escaped the trap. In a single day, Horus had broken the Emperor's military strength and cleared a path straight to Earth. The climax, the Siege of Terra. For 7 years, the galaxy burned as Horus fought his way toward Earth. When his massive fleet finally arrived, the Siege of Terra began. This was not a normal battle. It was a nightmare of magic and steel that lasted for months. Billions of soldiers died as the traitors hammered at the walls of the Imperial Palace. The sky turned black with falling debris and smoke. Eventually, Horus lowered the shields on his flagship, the Vengeful Spirit, to bait the Emperor into a final trap. The Emperor took the bait and teleported onto the ship with his most loyal guards and 2 of his sons. The first to reach Horus was Sanguinius, the noble Primarch of the Blood Angels. Sanguinius was a hero with white wings, but he was no match for a Horus who was now filled with the total power of the 4 Chaos Gods. Horus killed his brother in a brutal, one-sided fight, breaking his neck with a massive mace. When the Emperor finally entered the room, he saw the broken body of his favorite son at the feet of his greatest traitor. The duel that followed was a clash of gods that vibrated through the warp itself. The Emperor tried to hold back at first, still hoping there was a piece of his son left to save. Horus used this hesitation to rip the Emperor's arm from its socket and crush his windpipe. It was only when the Emperor realized Horus was completely gone, replaced by a hollow shell for the Chaos Gods, that he gathered his full psychic strength. He fired a beam of pure energy that did not just kill Horus's body, but completely deleted his soul from existence. Horus was gone forever. However, the cost was total. The Emperor fell to the floor, his body shattered beyond repair. His loyal son, Rogel Dorn, found him and carried his broken father back to the palace as the traitor fleet fled in terror. The aftermath, a dying dream. The victory over Horus was a hollow one that left the Imperium in ruins. To save the Emperor's flickering life force, he was placed inside the Golden Throne. This massive machine is a combination of a life support system and a psychic amplifier. It keeps his soul anchored to his body, but he can no longer speak, move, or lead. He is a silent, rotting corpse god, trapped in an eternal state of agony. To keep the throne running and to power the lighthouse that allows ships to travel the stars, 1,000 psychic humans must be sacrificed to him every single day. The man who wanted to build a world of logic became the centerpiece of a death cult. The dream of the Great Crusade died on that throne, replaced by 10,000 years of stagnation and fear. The traitor legions who survived the battle fled into the Eye of Terror, a massive hole in reality where the warp bleeds into the physical world. There, they became the Chaos Space Marines. Because time flows differently in the warp, many of the original traitors from the heresy are still alive today, fueled by a hatred that never fades. Back in the Imperium, the imperial truth was completely forgotten. Without the Emperor's guidance, humanity turned to religion for comfort. They began to worship the Emperor as the literal god of mankind, believing that his sacrifice was a holy act. The very things the Emperor hated, fanaticism, superstition, and ignorance, became the foundation of human survival. Every advancement in science was seen as a sin, and the Empire became a brutal bureaucracy where individual lives meant nothing. The Horus Heresy did not just break an empire, it broke the human spirit, turning a bright future into a permanent dark age of endless war. In the grim darkness of the far future, the Emperor's broken dream is all that remains. Like and subscribe.